Can you see me?
Okay. Yeah, I can see you. Okay, yeah, hi, how are you?
Yes, I'm good, ma'am. How about you?
I am also good.
Okay. So we are meeting first time. So may I know about you, ma'am?
Yeah, my name is Pallavi Thingra and I'm an English trainer by profession. I have been teaching online from last 10 years and I love to teach. That's why I've been teaching for so long. This is all about me.
Oh, that's well, ma'am. Yeah, if I talk about myself, ma'am, I belong to Bihar state. I'm also primary teacher. And if I talk about my hobbies, so I like to traveling with different kinds of places by their varying purpose. Yeah, it's all about me, ma'am.
Okay, good to hear that. Okay, so do you have any questions, anything you can ask me up?
Yeah, of course, ma'am. I have a first question behalf of the side of the beginner students, ma'am. Like, if there any beginner want to learn spoken English very soon at home, so what kinds of idea would you like to prefer to all of them?
See, for the beginners, I suggest you that one should be regular with their learning because with beginners, what happens, they just start and they do it for some time and then they leave it. They wonder it is not their cup of tea because initially it becomes hard for them to learn and to understand the things. So, I suggest the important, first and most important thing is consistency. That consistency is very important. Next, I suggest you is for the beginners, it is that they should listen a lot because listening is the first step and then comes the speaking. Because if you're able to listen and understand as well as comprehend well, then you can even speak well. So from listening, then comes it as speaking. And for speaking, there are so many activities which one can do. You can stand in front of the mirror and you can copy the way some of a person is speaking, or you can just like assess what you have done during the whole day, whatever a person has done from morning till night. Just start doing that. Just start like speaking the same thing in English in front of the mirror. That also helps a lot for the beginners, as well as reading books really helps. If even a person is not able to understand 100%, it's absolutely fine, but reading is something that really helps a person to
Okay,
improve
ma'am.
his skills. So these are like few things that I would be suggesting.
Yeah, ma'am, that's really great. And I really agree to you also, ma'am. Okay, ma'am, so I am so curious by knowing you. How have you improved your spoken English and how? Can you
See,
tell
I
me?
tell you, I was a convent educated child, so it never happened that I have to struggle so much in English. Yes, it keeps on improving, but I have been speaking English since my childhood days. And then I
Okay.
started giving training for IELTS, an exam which a student has to give to go abroad. So from there, like it goes on. So it never happened that I have struggled so much, but I know the way outs, like how one can improve and what are all the challenges and how one can improve better.
Yeah, ma'am, you're right. And really, I just want to include my little opinion in this field, like why the beginner have been facing a different kinds of problem, like a hesitation and a low confidence. As I consider, ma'am, like they are meeting the first time of these kinds of situation into their life, and that's the biggest reasons by having the hesitations, yeah, low confidence. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes, you are right. They have this issue. I'm telling you, for beginners, first of all, they have to keep in their mind that it takes around 1 year to reach to the level they are expecting, because English is something like an alien language for them if they haven't learned or they don't know anything about it. So, wondering that within a month they will start speaking in English or within 2 months, it is really just giving a false illusion to them, and they are just like demotivating themselves at the end of the day because they do it
Yeah,
for 10 days and at the end of the day they leave it because they feel it is very hard. So
Yeah,
consistency is important, and that too with right guidance. Sometimes people also leave because what they do, they just keep on following some methods. Like as if I mentioned in the beginning, like listening to somebody, either any YouTube video, reading. So I would suggest for the beginners, it is good enough if they will be like getting a mentor for themselves, because
yeah,
getting
yeah,
a mentor is very important, and that too
yeah.
will be guiding you how to go and where to go. That skills
Yes, ma'am.
really help a lot.
Yeah, you're right, ma'am. And in this time, what I'm observing the beginner mistakes, like they are just they couldn't write even any kinds of sentence or even read any basic knowledge of grammar. They jumped out directly. They started speaking with the new people. They do not have the proper sentence for modifying their conversations, right? Like basically we are learning second language, right? So we have a limited sentence, right? So without practicing self, right, creating a so many sentences about a different part of it, how can we expect for having the fluency, right, ma'am? So,
Yeah.
according to me, ma'am, I really want to suggest to all the beginner first they have to making lots of sentences about a different kinds of matter, right? So they will have the data for mentioning their feeling in this way. Otherwise, they always get hesitation and low confidence because they have a less data, the less sentence for transforming their sentence according to situation. I'm right, ma'am?
You're right.
Yeah, that's why I always prefer to the beginner also. First, you have to practicing yourself a lot. Just like a mirror practice, as you mentioned, ma'am, right? Mirror practice, that is, they have been observing the things around them and making over their 5 to 10 sentences every day. So they are
Uh-huh.
storing the data internal of their mind by creating, such like that sentence,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
I'm right, ma'am.
Yes, you
So
are
I always
absolutely right.
Yeah, that is this is my consideration. That's what the beginner have been facing a lots of problem. Right,
Yes, you are
ma'am?
absolutely right.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. I have a next question for you. Beginner have been facing, they are unable to keep remembering any vocabulary for longer. What is kinds of advice of yours about the
See,
beginner?
for vocabulary, I suggest you that, as if you know, I also have a YouTube channel. You can go to my YouTube channel, Learn English with Pallavi Dhingra. Over there, in the conversation videos, there almost in every another video, I told an activity, word chain activity. This is something if you will be following, every beginner can remember and memorize the words. Because if you take, suppose if you take 10 words in a day, and then we will learn it, but then at the end of the day you will struggle where to use it. You will always find a reason where I should use that word, and you will not find it. This is, I'm telling something practical. So
Yeah, yeah,
that
you're right.
activity, word chain activity, that is really a wonderful activity that help you to improve your vocabulary a lot. So one can do that activity, that will really help every beginner a lot to improve his or her activity, like
Of course, ma'am.
skills in grammar, like, and as well as this will cater in your interest in English a lot. What that activity not only help you to improve your memory, yeah, that also helps you to improve vocabulary along with your memory power as well. So that is
Yeah, ma'am.
really wonderful activity.
Yeah, and ma'am, I just want to include my opinion and try to relate it with you. Like, the better way of remembering any kinds of vocabulary, when you connect with the new people for having the conversation, at that time you have to put your own situation. This is my personal experience, relate of your vocabulary, if you create in your own situation during the conversation, at that time you will have the vocabulary also because you already work over there na before time, right?
Mhm.
So relatively any kinds of topic have you been putting in your conversation time, so that would be much better to keep remember that vocabulary for longer. Am I right, ma'am?
Yeah, you are
Yeah.
right.
So this is my personal experience which I remembered, I learned, I checked out by myself. I always prefer to the beginner. So that's why, ma'am, I just wanted to relate you of your opinion about this matter. Okay?
Okay, yes, you are right as well.
Yes, ma'am. Because every people are talking in a different way. If we are expecting for having the exact situation relatively of our vocabulary, we will never get. because every people are not much better in talking, right? All of them are a beginner. They are not comfortable by talking as a normal conversation with anyone. How could you expect from having the relative sentence? As you mentioned, if I will get the any situation, then I will use that kind of vocabulary, right? Nothing
Yes.
going to happen. You have to create your own situation if you want to keep remember any vocabulary, and that is the biggest reason for forgetting very soon whatever we learned before, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. So I'm curious by knowing, as you mentioned, since your childhood you have been uh, having the environment, English environment. That's why you're very fluent. If the any beginner is supposed to be want to be a good in this field within 1 year, yeah, even 2 years, is it possible according to you or not?
Yes, it is possible. And for environment, you cannot say I have the environment. I am from like India only, so it's not possible for any Indian to have the environment of English speaking around. Yes, in few houses it is there, but in my house it's not there. My parents don't speak in English, or nobody in my family speaks in English. So how one can create the environment for yourself is start to think in English, because to find an environment is just an excuse. We do not have an environment, so we are not able to speak in English. So create the environment for yourself. Think in English. Thinking in English will help you to create the environment for yourself. Like whatever you are doing, just think that in English, because the language we think is the language we speak. So because you
Yeah,
are thinking most of the time in your mother language, in Hindi or in any other language, so that comes the best out of your mouth. So think in English, so English will come the best out of your mouth.
yeah, ma'am, you're right. Okay, ma'am, I'm very curious by knowing like how the any people can think in language. This is a language, na? How anyone can think? What is your
Simple,
opinion?
like whatever you are doing. Suppose right now you think in your mind you have a call with me, so rather than thinking in Hindi, like abhi meri class hogi, you think in English. I have a call with Pallavi ma'am. This is the way you think in English. And if you struggle in your mind, then you can Google. We live in the world of AI. Anybody can Google what will be the English of this particular sentence.
Yeah, ma'am. According to me, like as I consider, like we have to see the image of this sentence directly, internally, right? We have to visualize the image of the sentence word,
Yes,
sentence images, right? That is mean like we can think in images of this sentence structure, right? That is the possibility, right?
yes, see, this is something you're talking about grammar. It comes a bit later. I won't say like only after learning grammar one can speak English. Without learning grammar, also a person can speak English. Yes, for writing, you need proper English just by listening and thinking in English all the time, and reading a lot of books also helps a person. See, any child who is of 4 years, he doesn't know anything in English, but still he knows, he doesn't know like anything in grammar, but still a person can speak English well. And that happens the same with Hindi. We people, we don't know the best of the grammar of Hindi, but we are like so good in Hindi. So it's not important that only after learning grammar you can speak good English. This is such a
Yeah,
false
ma'am.
statement. Yes, it is
Yeah,
important.
you're right.
Deny that, but it is not like 100% only if you learn grammar you can speak English.
Yeah, ma'am. I'm also agree because we have a requirement on see all on only have for having the basic information about the grammar, like use of the modal verbs, which will make us, a long sentence very short, right? We have to the requirement of knowing the basic knowledge of grammar. There is no requirement of going in a deep. Otherwise, we will be gone in a see, like we will having the lots
Yes.
of confusion, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes, ma'am. I also experienced beginner when I started to learning this language. Okay. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's 100% right, ma'am. According to you also. Yeah. Okay, ma'am. So have you ever worked as a tutor? Any applications? Because I have seen you, I think. Any
Uh,
application?
yes, I have been working only from last 10 years, online only. So, and I have worked like with lot of platforms. Even I have like my own system wherein I teach online full time. Like at present also, I'm teaching online full time.
Okay. This is your profession, ma'am. Right.
Yes, it is my profession. I have been teaching from last 10 years full time English.
Okay, that's why. Okay, ma'am. Have you ever gotten any hesitation, ma'am, at
No.
your any of time? No. And supposed to be if you are going to hesitate any kinds of situation. So, what do you think? What is the reasons behind it for having the hesitation? What
See,
do you
I don't
think?
wonder everything is in your mind. If you will be giving your instructions to your mind that I'm going to hesitate in front of the other person, your mind will follow that. It is everything lying over here. It is nothing to do with your skills. First thing, it is everything is in your mind. People hesitate, people say we have low confidence. It is just because they have something fixed in their mind. So it is all about your mindset. So
Yeah,
first of all,
ma'am.
you need to have positive mindset.
Yes, ma'am, you are right. Okay, ma'am, as you mentioned, in this time, the people have a requirement of having the environment for learning this language. So, what do you think? According to you, also the environment is much essential, and
I
without
mean,
environment, any beginner?
we can create yourself by thinking in English. This is what I mentioned. You do
No,
not
no,
need
no.
a person to think in English.
I'm
You
asking you.
yourself is enough.
Yeah, yeah. I'm asking you, like, without environment, any beginner want to learn English, so it is possible or not? What is
Yes,
your
it is
opinion?
possible. It is possible. Everything is possible in this world. You should
Okay.
need to find the reasons. People
Yeah.
are the people those who are not learning English. It is just because they keep on like focusing more on the excuses rather than finding the reasons, like why, how we can like go with the solution. They do not find the solution more, they find the problems more.
Yeah, ma'am, you're right. Beginners are very lazy. They do not want to struggle by finding their own solutions, right? They're always depending on someone's, right? If I will get the idea of someone, then I will be do some kinds of things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they won't want to do any kinds of things. You're right, ma'am. Because I belong to village area, I couldn't have any kinds of environment. Still, I'm talking because I did. I got the solution. So that's why, ma'am, I always
Yes,
suggest to
you're
all the
right.
beginner, there is no requirement of having the environment. You are enough to utilizing your time and addressing your your proper major part of things, which is a really requirement for learning any kinds of language, right, ma'am?
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
so it was really nice connecting with you. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
But one thing I just wanted to ask you, ma'am, nowadays, any beginner want to learn any kinds of novels, yeah, storybooks. So, what kinds of book would you like to prefer? Last question, ma'am.
See, I tell you, I wouldn't recommend any novel or any to a beginner. First of all, for the storybooks, if a person is a beginner, can take any moral storybooks of kids. That would
Okay.
be good enough. Because
Okay, ma'am.
novels is not at all recommended. It is like only you are going to keep yourself in stress. Novel means you are reading, you are finding so many difficult words, difficult sentence structures, so you are going to pressurize your mind that you cannot do it. So don't
Yeah,
read
yeah,
novels. For
yeah,
beginners, novels
ma'am.
not recommended at all. Storybooks, one can take that too of kids' storybooks. So that is good enough for a beginner.
Yeah, ma'am, you're right. We are having lots of confusion. Having a very expensive, different kinds of vocabulary there. So obviously, we will lost our interest also during learning time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. So really, this is a really nice conversation with you, ma'am, and you give me all the answers according to beginner's opinion. So I'm really glad, really, and I would like to again
Sure.
connect with you with any topics. Okay, ma'am.
Sure. Okay,
Yeah, ma'am.
bye.